does my headset decide to do that just as I'm recording? It always does that. I'm afraid to adjust my headset now because of the fact if I do it, it's going to mute. Watch. Now you're just spiting me. See, this headset spites me every time I'm talking to somebody on like a ventrilo or something like that. I'm like, so how you doing? And it's like, click. I hear it clicking. It looks to my bottom right, left of my eye. It's like a red light, like just there. And I'm like, oh, means it muted. But, alright, that's completely off track of what I was trying to talk about here. Alright, I got a couple pickups from driving back from my brother's house. Now, a couple things I'm going to be doing. One thing I'm going to be doing for him is actually two things. First is, I'm going to show this to you guys because this is a future project. I'm going to do a video, once I get all the parts and everything, and I'm going to help him fix this. Alright, first part is this is his, not mine, Nintendo DS Lite. As you can see right there, how I'm easily can how it's just like, you guys know what the problem is. The hinge is not giving a firm grip on the door, so it's like it's just practically. I don't want to do this too much because I don't want to damage anything, even though it won't. It's just like that. So it basically, when you're playing a game, it's like, boop. My fingers are not even touching it. Ready? See? So it's physically, cosmetically, of course, this needs to be repaired on this part right there. My brother's going to give me a tri-bit, and I believe I need one more bit for the battery compartment because I need to get the screw in there as well. And also get to replace, we're going to basically redo this DS and refurbish it, home style. But, I'm going to be getting, obviously, the stylus and everything. He's paying for it himself. I'm just going to help him by replacing and getting it fixed. And, because he was talking about getting a new DS. Every once in a while, he'll bring it up. And I'm, thinking about it. It's like, Sean, didn't you have a DS before? He goes, yeah, it's broken now. I'm like, what happened to it? Then he mentioned the hinge. Like, it would just be like, it was like a checkbook, practically, when it closed and opened. And that's the problem with it, was that when he was playing games, the damn thing would just be like, so, I'm going to fix that for him, and, because the screen's scuffed up beyond hell. Everything else on it's cosmetically fine. It's just, the only problem with it is the hinge slammed shut again. So I'm going to try to help him, or I'm going to help him and fix that. So that way he'll basically have a just as new DS to play with, because he's been dying to play some DS games, including his children. Wanted to play a couple of the Nintendo games because these kids have been bugging him about playing it. But you're probably asking, how the hell did that break? Well, his youngest, I guess, I don't know why, but she damaged it by destroying the plastic. So kids are kids, whatever. But we can get this fixed for under $14 because I got to get the case. Sean's gonna order a new case after, and I'm gonna fix this for him. But, alright, the second thing I'm going to do for him is apologize. Now, you're probably asking, why the fuck are you going to apologize because you're fixing something? But, no, it isn't that. Now, here's the deal. Now, everyone's watched the first latest to the second latest podcast I've done. And, basically, me and Super Dan restarted the podcast that we were doing. The retro for the win. Now, of course, though, Sean is correct. We did kind of just almost do it without him, and we're admitting that. We're being honest. We're being fair to say that we did do that. And we're gonna explain ourselves before we get sentenced on the invisible judge and jury. That the whole reason why we did it was because we just wanted to get the product out again. So that way we can get people's interests back into the show. We're checking the formats because we're doing it in 2 different formats as well. It was sort of a test. The whole reason why the podcast stopped was first, Super Dan had a lot of college issues where he had to attend college. He's done now, so we're all set with that. And we do have the third of the latest coming on the way. And the whole entire thing now, I'm not trying to say who's right or wrong. I don't really care. I would love to see Sean on the show. It's kind of, I agree with Sean being really upset. I don't blame him. I know he isn't overly upset. He's just really disappointed with me, and I don't blame him because I was kind of in the wrong. So, I'm apologizing to him for the fact that I didn't remind him or tell him. And again, I did mention in the podcast because I was like kind of dwelling on it a little bit. It's like, oh man, oh shit, we should definitely told Sean. So that's why I mentioned, we're gonna definitely have Sean on the show, and that's true. We're gonna stick by that. We're gonna have Sean on the show. We're not gonna be like, because the whole reason why that the show was kind of it went scaly for a second, it was because of a disagreement between all of us. I'm just gonna say all of us, that way it's fair. And it was just a silly disagreement, and it was something that should not have been really, just shouldn't have even really mattered. So I know everyone's calmed down already, and that's also why I wanted to make sure the show was out first. I mean, I didn't want to hurt Sean's feelings or make him feel disappointed with me. That isn't really what I want to do with that. I mean, I'm still gonna try to get him on the show, hopefully, if he still wants to. It isn't, we're trying to, I'm not trying to alienate him, because for fuck's sake, if I'm trying to help him do this, I mean, that doesn't mean I hate him at all. I'm not trying to avoid him. And, it's just, I'm trying to build it again, the podcast again. I mean, isn't that, he was slowed me down kind of thing either. Don't think that. We're just trying to build it so much format's good for like encoding quality and everything. And me and Super Dan alone, we have to deal with like an hour and some odd minutes of worth of audio, and it's just like hair ripping experience. But it is nothing reflected in Sean at all. It's nothing to do with really him. That negatively. It's if anything positively, we're definitely gonna have him on the show for more topics, and we're not saying he's a guest. We're gonna try to get him on there again like it was before. And I honestly just rather do I mean, granted, Sean wants to do things with me, and I try to do things with him. Because the distance between me and him, it's really hard to do a lot of stuff, and I feel like miserable shit because like he'll remind me of that, and I just feel bad. And I'm not saying to just make people say, "Oh, poor Danny," kind of thing, but just in general, I'm being serious that it really bothers me. I like to play video games with Sean. I like to talk with him. I don't mind doing that at all. It isn't that. I just try to find ways to do it with him. Disagreements. I don't want my friends and my brother and everyone just and myself, everyone being all disagreeing and being the negative comment around each other. It bothers me personally because I get stuck in between it. That's why I just said, okay, let's just get because like Super Dan wanted to restart the podcast as soon as he was done with the college segment. So we're done with that, and I'm just 100% hoping everyone's forgiven each other. And, I just want to see the podcast get rekindled and everyone it just be like Happy Dory. As for audio quality, whatever. Whatever. I don't care anymore. Just as long as everybody can hear each other, it's fine, as far as I'm concerned. It's a podcast. We're doing it out of our bedrooms. I mean, come on. But, I just wanted to show off a couple of pickups as well. I picked up from EB Games, to sort of close out the video. Sort of more of a positive thing, too. I mean, again, I apologize to my brother. It isn't that I'm scared to make a video kind of thing and anything like that. I'm just saying I felt bad because he was right when he meant the comments. I can understand where he's coming from. I'm not saying he's wrong. He's right. Because I'm an honest guy when it comes to that. I admit when I'm wrong. I'm not like a jerk about it. I don't know why I'm looking at the freaking computer monitor. I should be looking at you guys. But, alright. Picked up a couple things here today. I picked up Raiden 3 for the PlayStation 2 for $6. Still had money left on that gift card. And I got a loose copy of a game, which I put it in the case here. Time's closing out here. I'm also going to focus on the time because I'm going through the quick capture. Alright. I got Death by Degrees for $2. And, it was a good game. I played like a small chunk of it. It was actually not a bad game, so that's why I picked it up loose copied. I could probably find a case and a manual and the artwork probably somewhere cheap if I'm lucky. Yeah, I got 3 games so far I got to search for, so I'm probably going to hold off on getting these discs like this because it's kind of a hellish to try to find them any way, shape, or form differently. The case on Raiden 3 is a little banged up, as you can see right there. But, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to swap it out with one of this donor case from Madden 2007. So, other than that, I hope everyone's enjoyed their evening, and I'll be doing more videos soon.